Pharaoh has two dreams. The first is where he sees 7 lean cows swallowing up 7 fat cows, and they remain lean. The second one is a similar dream where he sees 7 meager stalks swallowing up 7 fat stalks and remaining as meager as they were before. Joseph is taken out of his prison, brought before Pharaoh, and interprets the dream successfully. Now, as a result of Joseph interpreting the dream, he saves Egypt from famine. That's the beginning of a whole process where his brothers and his father come to settle in Egypt because of the famine. And that led eventually to Egyptian bondage, which led, of course, to the Exodus, followed by the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai when the Jewish people became a nation. So there must be something meaningful that we could learn from the story of Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dreams, or from the very dreams themselves, because it's not just some minor detail. This is a process that eventually led to us becoming a nation. What could we learn from Pharaoh's dream? There are many things, but one of them is the way he describes where he was situated. In his dream, it makes it very clear that he was standing on the river, the Nile River. That's how he describes himself in the dream. When he reports the dream to Joseph, he changes something. He says that I was standing on the river bank. And according to the Midrash, Joseph rebuked him for that. He says, no, you were not standing on the river bank. You were standing on the river itself. Now, what's going on over here? So the explanation is that Pharaoh was embarrassed to say that he was standing on the river because the river, the Nile River, was their god. They worshipped it. It was the source of all their income, of all their produce, of all their sustenance. So it would be embarrassing for him to say that I'm standing on my God. So he changed it to read, I was standing on the river bank. But in truth, he was standing on his God. Why? Because pagan deities are creations of man. We believe that we were created in God's image. We were created to follow in God's ways, to emulate God, the one God, the true God. The pagans and all other isms that are more sophisticated form of paganism or less sophisticated forms, they create their gods in their image. And that's the reason why the pagans had many gods. It's not just a question of having many versus one, but the many gods were a reflection of their own many different personality traits. They projected their own traits, some of them good, most of them not good, on their gods. So anything that they did, they could justify by saying, well, there's a God that follows that particular trait that I have. And that is what Pharaoh was essentially saying, that I stand on my God. I created my God, and I can follow the God because it's really following my own ego, my own immoral behavior, and so on. That's the difference between Judaism and all other isms. All other isms are man-made, and when they're man-made, they really reflect the weaknesses of humanity. Sometimes they can be virtuous as well, but there's always a mixture of immorality, always a mixture of paganism in every man-made ideology. The ultimate goal, when we talk about the Messianic age, we say in our prayers, "In that day God will be one and his name will be one." That means that the world will recognize that God is not our creation, we rather are creations of God.